Okay, let us get down to Bidness. Bidness time.
It goes down in the deep.
Consider, if you will, this inequality. -2 is less than 2. True or false? True. How do you know? Because it's further left on the number line. So we know this to be true because -2 is left of +2. And I'm going to go ahead and put those two dots on here in red. Yeah? Everybody good? Mm-hmm. Everyone agrees, right? Yep. This is not complicated to anyone.
Nope.
As you go further to the left on the number line, the numbers get smaller. Even though they appear to get bigger because all of you want to say 2 is bigger than 10.
Nope.
I mean, 2 is smaller than 10.
It is.
2 is smaller than 10.
Yes, I know that. But once you put a negative in front of it, that is no longer true. You guys refuse to understand that part of it. Right? It's kind of like the ton of feathers and the ton of bricks argument. Am I not speaking English? Oh, because I figured you must have some kind of translator device on your phone because you were putting your earphone in, so it must have been listening to me and translating into a language you were good with. Because of course you wouldn't have your earphone in when I'm speaking.
Yeah, it was interesting.
Right? Right, I thought so. I know you did, because you were smart enough to wait till he got in trouble. Now, if I'd gotten mad at you, if I'd seen you first, then it would have been Perry that went. But he would have thought, for some reason, that I'm such an old man that I don't have the corner of my eye and wouldn't have seen that happening. Like when I was looking at him, I didn't see you doing it. Because apparently you guys don't understand how eyes work.
Should be a detective.
So, this is indeed true. Everyone is comfortable with that fact. Yes?
Yep.
Okay. Now, we are going to multiply both of these by the same positive number. I'm going to do that in blue. I'm going to multiply both of these by +2. What number does that give me on the left? What is 2 times -2? -4. What is 2 times +2? +4. What direction does the arrow point? To the -4, because it is lower. -4 is less than 4. I'm going to take my blue pen and I'm going to put a dot at -4 and +4 that are blue. Is this still true? Did the original inequality maintain its integrity when I multiplied by a positive number?
No.
Yes.
Yes, it was still less than. Okay? Still true. Now, let's divide by 2. Again, it is +2, and I'm going to do that in green. Divide by 2, divide by 2. What is -2 divided by 2? -1. What is 2 divided by 2? 1. I'm going to put my green dots on here. Is the inequality still true?
Yes.
Yes. Still true. So what does that tell us? What did I do here? I multiplied by what? And I divided by what?
2.
Excellent. Something happened in math, yes? I multiplied by a positive number, I divided by a positive number. What happened to the inequality? In both cases, it stayed the same. So if it happens twice in math, happens every time. So what's our rule? No, that's a stupid rule.
Why?
Because if you don't talk to strangers, how are you going to meet anyone in your life? Every single person in the world that you don't know is a stranger. All of your friends were strangers at one point. If you don't talk to them, how would you make friends?
Never. We'll never make friends.
Never.
Exactly.
Someone's number and start talking to them.
just random. Just dial 7 numbers. Hi. Still talking to a stranger.
My.
All right, when multiplying and dividing by what kind of numbers? Positives.
Great difficulty.
Okay. Inequalities stay true. Okay. When else have we seen this? Same as adding and subtracting. So, we just did a quiz with adding and subtracting. The inequalities didn't change. We just did multiplying and dividing by positive numbers. The inequality didn't change. The rule is the same for 3 cases. Yes? All right. Now, you guys are smart kids.
Yep, that's what we are.
2 and negative 2, I'm still going to do in red. Right? Negative 2 and 2. Correct?
Yes.
Now, multiply both sides by negative 2. What do I get here? 4. What do I get here? What happens to the sign? It has to flip. Because 4 is greater than negative 4. So this 2 trucks out to here, and this 2 trucks out to here. And you can see that the inequality has been reversed. Now you guys are smart kids. When I multiplied by a negative number, it reversed. What is going to happen when I divide by a negative number? Of course it's going to reverse again. Negative 2, negative 2. What's negative 2 divided by negative 2?
One. Negative 1. Just 1.
Oh.
Positive 1. 2 divided by negative 2? Negative 1. As you can see again, it's reversed. So I started at negative 2 and 2, but this guy became positive 1, and this guy became negative 1. So they switched places. So again, the inequality reverses. So, what's our rule? When multiplying or dividing by negative numbers, our inequality reverses. Nice spelling, idiot. Reverses. And this is a special case. There's nowhere to compare it to. Okay? This is only when multiply or divide by a negative. Okay? I cannot stress this enough. For some reason, kids can't figure this out. Because again, they are learning steps and shortcuts, not what's actually happening. There's a reason we did this. This should be all you need. If you understand this, then you understand the rule. It's not the other way around. That's why I don't give you the rule first and then explain it. Okay? Learn this. Turn the page over, solve, and graph. Shouldn't be a problem. What am I going to do here to get x by itself? Because that's always my job.
Plus 12.
Divide.
Never mind.
Because you need to get x by itself, Paneet. 12 is already by itself. Your job is to get the letter by itself, which means this times 4 has to move. So you do the opposite of times 4, which is divide by 4. Is 4 positive or negative? Positive. So does the sign change? No. X is less than negative 3. And then we graph it. What's the only number that matters? Negative 3. Is it colored or? No. And is the letter first? So does the arrow follow the sign? Yeah. Okay? How do I do this one? Divide by what?
2.
Why negative 2, Bryn? Because you want to get rid of a negative 2. So, negative 2 divided by 2 is C. 8 divided by negative 2 is negative 4. Did I divide or multiply by a negative number? I divided by a negative number. So what happens to my sign? It flips. What's the only number that matters? Negative 4. Colored or not? Colored, because it's equal to 4. Is letter first? So do I follow the sign? Yes. What's the number I have to get rid of here? A fraction. It is 2. What math is happening to the 2 I must get rid of? It is dividing. So what must I do to get rid of it? Multiply by 2. See you later. Finish that when you get back. Yeah, right. So we were right here at... Yes, indeed I am. Which means, of course, your headphone is out.
Yep, it is.
Because I'm speaking. I know. All right. So, of course, we have multiplied both sides by what?
2.
What kind of 2? Positive 2. So we're going to have B and 6. Since they were both positive, does the sign change?
No.
Abso-smurfly not. So I graph it. What's the only number that matters?
6.
6.
Colored.
Close dot. Do I follow the do I follow the sign?
Yes.
Yep. Phone. Thank you. Phone. Thank you. I waited forever for you to stop messing with it after the bell. I did a whole question, and you just failed a quiz.
I failed this? Oh, yeah, I
Of
did.
course you did, because you do this instead of doing math.
My bad.
I know. That's what I just told you.
I know.
What do I do to get rid of this?
Times by 3. Negative 3.
Multiply by negative 3. Why negative 3? Because that's the number I want to get rid of. And it is seen to be dividing. So I must do the opposite of what I see. V, negative 12. What happens to the sign? Why?
Because the number's a negative.
Because I divided by a negative number. I graph it. What's the only number that matters? Negative 12 was my letter first. So I follow the sign. Close dot or open dot? Open. Cool?
Perfect.
What if the numbers were first? What would all these graphs do?
Go the opposite way.
Go the opposite way of the sign. Okay? Is your hand up or are you just waving? What?
What if the number is first and it's a negative?
If the number is first and the number is negative?
Yeah.
Well, then the only number that matters is negative 12 and the arrow follows the sign. The letter will never be negative. Because you don't want the letter to be negative.
I never said that.
No, I know, but obviously, if the number was first, the number, as you can see, only matters for where we put our dot on the number line, right? So even if it's negative, that isn't going to change. The arrow is going to change. Okay? So, let's go. Would you reverse or not? So all you got to do is write here, reverse or not. Not asking you to solve it yet. We're going to solve it in the next one. But the first thing I need you to do is look at it and make sure you can recognize if it's going to reverse or not. This is just like in the first unit where you would check and see is your answer going to be positive or negative before you go any further. Will you be reversing this? Yes. Why?
Because you have to divide by.
Because there's a divide by a negative. Okay? Will you be reversing this? No. Because you are dividing by a positive. What about here? Yes. Why? Because you are multiplying by a negative. Okay? Just look at the question. If there's a negative in a denominator or a negative coefficient, when you're down to one letter, you know you need to reverse the sign. Okay? Now solve it. So what do I divide by? -2. So m is less than? Is that correct? Really?
No, you have to flip the
Of
sign.
course not, because you didn't flip the sign, because you guys, we just did it. What's the only number that matters? -4. Can I put it anywhere in the number line I want? Yes, because it's my number line, -4. Circle, closed or open? Open. Does the arrow follow the sign? Why?
Because it's,
What's the shortcut for you? Letter is first. What about this one? Divide by 2. Positive, so the sign doesn't reverse. So we go to 4. What kind of dot?
Close.
Closed. Does the arrow follow the sign?
Yes.
Yep. And this one? Times by -2. Now remember, this is one of those situations where if you have not been paying attention, you will be in trouble. If you only listen to my words with one ear and you don't write anything down, and I'm not going to look at anybody or name names, then you're going to screw this up. Because all you have heard is do the opposite. So you're going to multiply by +2 here. You say you aren't, but I mark your tests. You will. I know who in this room will. Even though I'm making a giant deal out of it right now, somebody is still going to multiply by +2 here. Because you said to do the opposite. Even though I have plenty of video recording me saying you do the opposite operation. So this becomes y, this becomes -6, and what happens to the sign? Flips. -6 can go anywhere. We do not color it in because it is not equal. The letter is first, so we follow the sign. Does anybody have a problem with it? No. How many steps did it take to solve these? 1. Just the division or the multiplication, correct? Just like we did in algebra. We started out with x plus 4 is 7. How do you solve it? 1 step. Then we moved to a 2-step one. 2x plus 4 equals 7. -4 divide by 2, yeah? So obviously, what is our next logical step in inequalities? 2 steps. Multiplying or dividing and adding or subtracting. Here we go. First, I want to solve it. As always, what is my job when I see a variable?
Get it by itself.
Get it by itself. Do I start at the variable or away from the variable? Really? So if I gave you this, 2x plus 4 equals 8, you would start at the variable. No, of course you wouldn't, because you want to end up with the variable alone. If I was driving to Disneyland, would I teleport myself to Disneyland to start driving to it? No, I would start driving far away from Disneyland and arrive at Disneyland. So if I want to arrive at my variable by itself, where must I start? Away from the variable. Okay? I'm running out of examples to show you guys that. So I'm going to start away from the variable, which means I have to get rid of this. Now, again, do not think of opposites. Think of the operation. What math is happening here to make that 1 appear? 1 has been added to this equation. So what must I do to make it disappear? Subtract 1 from where else?
3.
The 3. So I'm going to rewrite it because this is what you guys should be doing. 1 minus 2/3 x is greater than 3. Minus 1 minus 1. Negative 2/3 x is greater than 2. Why didn't I flip the sign? I'm doing something with a negative.
Because you're adding.
Because I'm adding and subtracting, so we don't flip the sign. Now here is the next thing that's going to cause you guys problems. You will notice I have quite purposefully put my negative up with the 2. Where is it written in the question? Right in the middle. Why?
Subtracting 1 from 2/3.
Excuse me. It is subtracting 2/3, yes, from the 1. Now, here is something that you guys need to be aware of, and I'm going to draw it over here. Negative 2/3, if you do that on your calculator, what do you get? I'll help you out. Negative 0.66 repeating, right?
Sure.
Negative 2 divided by 3. Yeah? Negative 0.6 repeating. Yeah? What do I get when I do 2 divided by negative 3? 2 divided by negative 3.
Negative 0.6.
Nope, there's a 7.
Good gravy, it's the same thing.
Good gravy.
And what do I get when I do negative 2/3? So go to my calculator. Negative bracket 2 divided by 3. Because this is saying negative whatever comes after, yes?
Yes.
And what's the answer? Oh my God, it's the same thing. So these are all negative 0.66 repeating, negative 0.66 repeating. So if all of these give you the same decimal, then what do you know about all 3 of these? They're the same thing. Okay? So I can go ahead and shift that negative 2 up there because that makes my algebra easier. Okay? So now what do I got to get rid of?
Times by,
Multiply 2/3.
times by 3.
Times by 3. Because I have to get rid of that 3. In the end, I don't want anything in front of that x.
Wait, this doesn't the 2 doesn't the x belong to both?
No. What is x really? This is another math lesson you need to know. What is x really? No. What is every single thing in math really? What is 7 really?
Over 1.
7 over 1. What is 112 really?
112 over 1.
Over 1. So what is x really?
Over 1.
X over 1. So x is a numerator, isn't it? So we're back over here. I've multiplied both sides by 3. What happens to the 3's? They disappear, giving me negative 2x. 3 times 2 is 6. Does the sign change yet? No. Why?
We haven't done anything.
Because I haven't done anything with a negative. I've multiplied by a positive, so the sign stays. Now what?
Divide by
Divide by what?
Negative 2.
negative.
Negative 2, because that's what I want to get rid of. X. Now what happens to the sign? Now it flips. Okay?
Perfect.
And now we can graph it. What's the only number that matters?
-3.
-3. Open or closed?
Open.
Open. Do I follow the symbol?
Yep.
Of course I do. Why?
Because it, the letters.
Because the letters first. Got it? Okay. Solve. Go. Looks slightly different. Doesn't change any rules. Would anyone like to take the magic pen and give it a shot? Yeah? Okay. Huh? No. It'll even reach, I think. There you go, big guy. Knock yourself out.
Ooh, gotta use this pen before.
Yeah, everybody talks about how easy it is when I make a mistake. Everyone laughs at me. Watch.
So you have to like tap it on the screen?
Just right.
Big test.
Just right.
Alright.
Okay.
Aiden, big test.
Eating the test.
Please.
That's 4. 5. That is -2. Whoopsies. Nope. How you erase it? Just like
Flip it over and erase.
20. So that's just F. Then,
Graph it.
yep, -10. And it's circle, and it goes that way.
Woo! Is he right?
No. I think
Yep,
so.
he did that perfectly. It's a mess, but he did it perfectly. Nice job. Doing math like a boss.
Damn, son. You know?
No, the one time I offered Skittles, nobody could handle it.
You get these?
You didn't give us good enough instructions.
I gave you the perfect instructions. I told you exactly what you needed to do. You guys did it wrong.
To figure it out.
I told you exactly what you needed to do. As a matter of fact, usually you guys are such lawyers that you shouldn't have had any problem with that. But it's funny because you're only lawyers when it allows you to be lazy. When Lawyer Ball actually made you do the work, then you get angry. Because as soon as I said, get me over there, everybody
Brain fuck.
right away, walk there. Right away. But if I had said, get me over there, and one person had done it right, all of you would have gone ape. Why would you ever do it that way? It's the dumbest way to do it ever. That's okay. Yeah, you kicked that thing's ass, Aiden. Well done. He did. Took it out back, showed it what it was like. I got nothing, because he did it perfectly. Does anybody have a problem with it?
No, that's exactly how I did it.
Does anything change?
Yeah, the sign.
No. In the way we normally do this. No. So, if I were to give you this, and you should have a little bit of blank space at the bottom of your paper.
Tiny.
If you don't have enough to feel you can write this out, then don't.
Ooh, you look dumb. Craig, you're so messy. Craig's a hot mess.
Mr. Myers, can I please turn my phone off?
Turn your phone off?
Like fully off? Because I don't keep on getting notifications.
Shut it down.
You don't want what?
I'm gonna keep on getting notifications.
That's okay.
Oh, that's not.
Yeah, it is. We can just let the battery die slowly.
Turn it brightness all the way up.
No, I'll turn it right over so I can't see nothing. We'll just let his battery die slowly. I have $5 in there though.
There's a brightness up.
No, I'm not a dick. Why would you?
Yeah, Craig.
What the heck's wrong with you, Craig?
Craig's a messy kid.
What the heck, man?
Could you solve that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Nope. I don't think I can.
Yeah.
Wait, no, you can't.
Of course you can.
Can.
What would you do?
It's a mathematical
Plus,
equation.
or yeah, correct.
So where would you start?
Plus that.
This is a weird one, right?
Minus 8.
Normally when you have two letters, what do I say you gotta do? You gotta start with the letters, but can you this time?
You don't have to. No, you can't.
You could. What makes it difficult though, Perry? There's a fraction, right?
Minus 7.
So, again, just one sec. Again, if you just listen to the steps and memorize steps, then when you get to a question like this, you are screwed, aren't you?
Nope, I am not.
Because what would you do here? Oh, Mr. Myers says that there's two letters, start with the letters. Okay, so that must be 60. I got it. Well, which one's smaller? So, you've got a couple of options. Dylan says I could multiply this by 2. If I multiply this by 2, that's going to get rid of the 2. But then what do I have to remember to do?
60 by 2.
Multiply everything by 2. That's the easiest thing to do.
So you can combine your 60 and 5D?
I'm getting to that. Well, that would be difficult because this is a fraction and this is not. That's what I'm saying. If you go to that right away, Aiden, like you would if there was no fraction here, you're in trouble.
But could you just put over 2 still? Like if you...
Well, then it would not be 6D over 2. What would it be? 12D over 2. So you could also do that. Okay, which would then give you 11D over 2. Okay? You with me? So I'm going to do what Dylan says, which is the smartest thing to do here. If you have been memorizing steps, oh, you two are so cute.
No.
We're putting.
I just love it.
Oh, no.
Miss Cook.
Pencil crayons.
Yeah, right there.
I thought you said pen.
What's up, Big Doku?
Thank you.
Oh, what a good boy.
All
What are
right.
you guys doing? How are your kids? Are they noisy?
No, just
No, just 2.
3?
That's me and him.
But you should sit farther away from me.
No, you should exercise self-control. You're like the type of person that says, I can't get skinny because there's treats in the refrigerator. Just don't eat them.
Thank you.
No problem. If I had a nickel for every time I heard one of my friends, usually a girl, I can't get skinny because Joe keeps having ice cream in the freezer. Don't eat it. Joe does not walk up to you, hold ice cream down your throat. Last I checked.
Or just run a little
What
bit.
if he does love
That's bad.
Then you should probably be in a different relationship.
Relationship goals.
What?
this year
From this summer school.
Yeah.
And you were on the first day, and you sat there, you said, don't worry, Penny's mom, he's not in trouble yet.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I watched that video.
Videos later,
What's happening?
these kids, it's so much trouble.
I know. All right. So Dylan, looking at this, Dylan has said, well, I got to get rid of that 2 because he knows that if that 2 is gotten rid of, then it's no problem. Right? Then it's easy. So he knows he can get rid of that 2 by multiplying this by 2. But he also knows
My multiplying 5.
he has to multiply everything by 2
That's so
or the value is going to change, isn't it?
Yeah, if you multiply the bottom.
So what happens to these 2's? It leaves us 5D plus what?
plus 14.
14. Do I change the sign?
No.
No, because I only multiply by a positive. 12D minus 10. Now I can solve this in my sleep, can't I?
Yes.
Which one's smaller?
5.
Now should I move the D first? Yeah. So we're going to move minus 5D, minus 5D. Dead, which means numbers need to be over here. So this number has to move, right?
Plus 10.
Plus 10, plus 10. 4 is less than 12 minus 5 is 7D, correct?
Wait,
How do I...
How is it 4?
Oh, sorry, 24. Now what?
Divide by
What?
7.
What kind of 7?
Regular 7.
A regular 7, positive 7. So does the sign change?
No.
No. Which is, of course, 3 and 3/7, but that's not important.
Would that question be on a test?
Could be. Why couldn't it be? You know how to do it. Whether, even if I didn't show you that example, you have all the tools. The biggest mistake you guys make, I say that a lot, but one of the number one mistakes you guys make is you stop thinking about math at the end of the notes. What you don't realize is you have been given all the math you need to solve way more difficult questions. Right? It would be kind of like if a carpenter stopped learning at here's a nail, here's a hammer. Bang, 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 bang. Done. I'm a carpenter now. Is that true?
No.
Of course not. Okay? You have to actually learn the skills that go with it. If one of those coins makes one more noise, I then have $3. You really think you have the willpower to have those coins in your hands? Because the second I hear another clink, I'm taking your money. Smarter move. Okay? I know you don't want to take notes and I know you don't want to be here. So here is your option. Leave, because I don't care. Or put your head down on your desk and shut your pie hole. Because you don't care to be here. You only care to be here so you can be a spectacle for everyone else. In case you haven't figured out, you're impressing kind of Riley and maybe Perry. Everybody else is not laughing with you. They are laughing at you. There is a difference. Okay? It's not something you can understand because you're only in the 9th grade and you still think it's cool. But of course, when you get to be a big person and all grown up, you will understand. But until then, sadly, we all have to wait. So since you don't want to be here, stop making any kind of problems for anyone. Just don't come.
Okay, sure.
Okay? Just leave.
I'll have to go.
No, you don't.
I need to get.
No, you're not going to.
I have higher work than I did before, so.
Yes, you have not. You are halfway through the course, and you have a final to write. Okay? So stop, or leave. Or continue and make me make you leave. Either way, I am going to win, and I am happy. Okay? Got it? Good. So, once again, you have seen that you have all the tools you need to solve anything. Now, if you do this carefully and properly, you will never end up in this situation. Negative x is greater than 7. This is a situation that I thought Dylan was talking about earlier, but I was mistaken. But now we're going to address it. Because many of you will say, okay, I'm done because x is by itself. Is it? X is not by itself. X has a negative right in front of it. Now, what is this technically? Negative 1x, isn't it? How do I get rid of negative 1 times x? I divide by negative 1, which means I got to divide this side by negative 1, which means once I've divided by negative 1, what happens to the symbol? It flips. That is a mistake in, not today, but tomorrow when you write your test, I'm going to see a bunch of. I know I am. Okay? I'm hoping I won't because I've shown it to you and it's been recorded and everybody could find it and study from it. Most of Most of you won't, and most of you will make that mistake. I hope that you do not. But again, I cannot control you at all, let alone after 1 o'clock when you leave here. Okay? Cool? Now, you will notice on today's list, I have an inequalities assignment. Remember I did this once before in polynomials, yeah? I gave you that extra sheet. It's not a quiz, because you can use your notes and talk to each other. But it's also not textbook work, because the answers aren't ready in the back of the book for you to cheat and check. Okay? Because the math skills you need to do inequalities are so important that I have to make sure you can actually do it, not what you guys have been saying all along, which is, oh, we got it, Mr. Myers, and I give you a quiz, and the average score is 7 out of 12. Which isn't, I can do it. Okay? The reason that is happening is because you're not actually practicing. You all think that I don't watch, but when I give you textbook work, most of you don't do it. I know you don't do it because when I ask if you need help with it afterwards, everybody says they're fine, then I give you a quiz and people don't get 100%. So I know you're not actually doing your practice, even though you think you're still fooling me. You're not. But I am still going to continue to do this. When it is an important topic that has a lot of chance for mistakes, like inequalities, I'm going to give you an extra assignment and expect you to do it. Okay? But I'm not going to give you that extra assignment until you've done some practice with multiplying and dividing, which is page 304. You're not going to do it all, as I said, because I don't trust you to not get your answers out of the back of the book. So, I want you to do 3. I want you to do 4A. I want you to do 9. I want you to do 10. I want you to do 12. Oh yeah. And 15. And then this will be your extra practice, which I will give you in a moment. Okay, I'm going to give you some time to do the textbook work first. Okay? The worksheet is going to be just practicing inequalities, but it's one of the joke puzzle sheets. I know, it's a super funny one. Well, they're all super funny, but you guys are mean. I think it is.
A cringy joke?
Yeah, of course it's a cringy joke.
I like cheesy jokes.
Of course you do. Cheesy jokes are the best.
I like my
Yeah.
I like my Cheetos.
Like Chester. Dangerously cheesy. Chester Cheetah. The Cheetos guy?
Oh, his name's Chester.
Chester the
Not
Cheetah.
even just Cheetah.
No, he's Chester the Cheetah.
Chester Cheetah.
No, I have not.